Good morning. It is this Saturday morning. Welcome back to the Saturday morning radio show. The collector's radio, right? Okay, so we're going to get right into it, and we're going to go ahead and read your comments here on the last week's show. So, again, with the comments, if we don't read your comment, it's either by the time you commented, you were after the fact that we did the taping of the show and all that, or your comment for some reason was pulled. And some examples of why that could happen is the moderator decides that if you added a link or something to something else, that's one way to get it removed. So that has nothing to do with me. But anyway, all right, here we go. In no particular order, the comments are going to read off. We got one here from Big Al. A beautiful pistol from Colt, and I agree with you completely. Colt should make regular runs of these guns, and collectors, shooters like us are being priced out of the hobby. There's more truth to that than ever. We'll have to be sharp-eyed to pick up what bargains we might find. Great video. Yes, and in case you missed last week's show, we did a really cool unboxing of a Colt Carbonia blued finish 1911 that they did. They're a very limited run. So, and one of the really neat ones, I guess, the Carbonia blued one, which it does kind of a more of a different finish. I was looking at it carefully, comparing it to mine that I own is a black oxide one, just the standard one, and I did notice there was a little bit of a difference. So, but you have to really look at it very carefully. All right, Slimfire 54. A awesome Colt 1911. JW, you were right about the Colt 1911s. There is a lot of history in your hands. I have one and I'm hanging on to it. Another great collector's radio. Thanks for the video, Slim. You are very welcome, Slim. All right, Revolver Detective. I just started collecting modern Smith & Wesson J-frames to round out the collection of quality revolvers. The 640 PD and 360J snubbies are extremely light and nice and easy to carry in a pocket. Love the radio show. Oh, and I am searching for a set of your custom resin grips for a J-frame revolver. I own quite a few pairs of your 1911 stocks that you made, and I get many compliments on them. If you can make some, I will make it worth your time. Thank you. I appreciate that, Revolver Detective. You never know what could happen, it being a new year and everything, so keep an eye. We may turn some up and stick them back on eBay. If we do that, it's not going to be a whole heck of a lot of them. It's going to be a very, very small amount, so we'll see what happens. I'll touch on some revolver grips and what's going on with that. And a little bit of the thing about those is really difficult. Actually, right over here, I have an experimental thing I was doing, which is far from perfect. I started messing around with Walther PBK grips, and it's extremely difficult to get all this cutouts inside correctly and done up and and all that because of the way it sits on a gun. It's not easy to do these. It really is not. And of course the way they wrap around there and all that. So it's quite a process, and it costs a lot of money to keep doing it because every time you try to mess with one of these or get one of these kicked out, I mean it's taken a nice little chunk of cash to do it, and once you mess it up, it's pretty much done. I mean it's done, in the trash it goes. So that's what kind of hinders a lot of that. Stephen K, really cool unboxing. That is a beautiful Colt. I'm hooked on Colt 1911s in 45 ACP. For me, the 5-inch barrel government model spur hammer, no high-rise beaver tail chambered in 45 ACP is perfection. You can't beat it, can you? It's a great combination. Great history. Your radio show on Saturday morning with a steaming hot cup of coffee is my favorite way to start the weekend. Thanks, Batjack JW. Stay well, my friend. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, you stay well too. Scottish American has popped up here. I think he's still crazy though. Beautiful piece for sure. 100% agree. Colt has the ability and should do more. Missed the 29 show. Dang it. Going back and watching because my love for obsession with the Dirty Harry. Okay, so you was talking about, wow, they're out early. We were talking about the Model 29 radio show, the Collector's Radio, the 29. All right, Joe P, my man Joe. Good morning, Joe, or good afternoon, I guess, whenever you're out watching this. My favorite John Milius quote is, "That's the gun I really wanted to keep, but it disappeared." He was talking about the Model 29 Clint throws at Coit Tower, which missed the padded blanket and clattered on the street. When you hear that sound too, I mean, there's so many rumors about the film and everything, and if you hear that clank, and it's like, that sounded pretty real. There's so many different. It's funny is because there's so many different rumors about that film and the mystique around the revolver and everything. And one of the most absurd ones I heard was, well, it wasn't actually a 44 Magnum. They used a 41 I mean, when you see it in the movie, you can clearly tell it's the 44. All right. We got Jack Bauer. Okay. Love the old S&Ws. You got great taste in wheel guns. And I am enjoying the Colt 1911 contents. First semi-auto pistol besides 22 LR was my dad's Colt 1911 70 series that he bought new in the early 70s. I have a Colt 1911 80 series, and it has lots of sentimental value that he gave me. I too struggle with the prices of these old Colts. I want an old Colt 9mm like yours last video, and want an old 70 series Colt to fill the itch. I bought a TSOS 9mm tanker Commander and Springfield Armory mil-spec stainless steel 1911 to hold me over. Plan to shoot them later today. I, like you, have those movie guns. I got a Browning high power because of the love for Beverly Hills Cop. That's good reason too. I mean, that's got some serious Browning high power action in it, and that's really cool. And Beverly Hills Cop is a funny movie. Harrison Mantooth, hey there, Batjack JW. Sorry for being late in replying to this edition of Collector's Radio podcast. Oh man, what a beautiful sight those 1911s are. I'm drooling all over my cell phone screen. Thanks again for highlighting a beauty of beauty 1911s. I love my Colts 1911 Commander in 9mm. Got to get myself another one in 45 ACP. Stan. Thank you, Stan. Yeah, there is something about I know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the old 45, but... All right, Danger Man. The Colt is beautiful. If you were in the market for an original, this thing would give me a serious pause. It did for me, because I own the black oxide one, and I shoot it. And I take it out and I mess with it. And it really does. It gives you, you know what, I mean, it's, you could almost say, well, with modern technology, now you got a shooter grade, and, who better than to do it than Colt. Not into reproductions, but since it is genuine Colt, I like this guy, Danger Man. And it's authentic down to the roll marks. I'd be tempted if the price were right. I agree with you that Colt should start making these as a regular production run. However, big business is all about profit. So I'll dream on. I wish a new Python would have been a reproduction more like this. I know they upgraded the internals, but the look isn't quite right. All due respect to stainless, but the royal blue finish is part of what makes the Python a collector's item, and it is true. And you know what? And if you look, Colt does have a government model 1911 in the royal blue, which is a throwback to the old commercial guns that they did, the very revered ones. And you know what? I mean, they've been a very rare breed to try to grab. Right now, they're kind of made out of unobtainium. They're floating around, but I have not been able to snag one up. They come in spurts, and the spurts are very short. There are not a whole lot of them pop up. And I tell you right now, I mean, I'm interested in one, but I'm not, because there's two things. Like, it's so shiny and pretty, I'd be afraid that I wouldn't want to, take it out and mess with it. But then there's a part of me that just wants one, and I'll still shoot it. It doesn't matter. But but I'm not gonna pay. I'm not gonna pay way above MSRP, because it's supposed to. That gun is supposed to be $1,400, which is a hefty chunk of cash. But I'm not going to pay $2,000 or $2,200 for something that's supposed to be, I mean, so it's just that's a hard one, unless I found one that had a few flaws on it, and it was like, $800 or something that, that would be nice. But, what are the chances? Jerry Johnson, too. I just completed putting my Palmetto State Armory AR-10 Gen 3 in 308 with 20-inch barrels. She is a heavy girl, but she is an awesome rifle. Hey, congratulations. Congrats, man. That's awesome. AR-10 308 all the way. 2 thumbs up. Way up for a Collector's Radio show. Thank you. Appreciate that. Bohemian Hunting Club. That is really cool. Thumbs up. Double thumbs up. Frank B. Google has a ton of info on Carbonia, heat treating, heat bluing, and cool 1911. I did look that up. Apparently that's what it is, something like that. It's something about the heat bluing or something. All right. JW, I love John Milius movies. Red Dawn, I forgot about that one. He did do Red Dawn. We're talking about the one with Patrick Swayze, not that remake crap. But Dillinger has a terrible shooting blooper in a fairly important scene. I am a bit unclear about the actress, but I think it's Barbara Hershey portraying Billy Richet. As Dillinger and the gang are escaping the bungled hotel raid, Billy is shown shooting and screaming the upstairs window. In the filming, she is her shooting a full auto from the window. As movies are made, scenes are subject to numerous takes, and editing, continuity is very important. Well, in some of the takes, the machine gun was a Thompson, and the others is a BAR without any continuity. Both guns are shown, only moments between both takes incorrectly edited together. I know the scene you're talking about. It actually, when I first saw the movie, that's the first thing I saw, was saying, wow, what the heck? Like, I could have sworn she had a different firearm. You're right all the way. It does change, and it's a pretty bad error there. One of the funny ones is that I always crack up with. They're coming out of one of the banks, and I mean, I think I want to say it's Jeffrey Lewis that has it. He has the BAR, and he goes to shoot it, and it's like not working or something, and he takes this thing and just spears it right through the windshield of one of the cars. It's insane. Like, I don't know. That almost scene looks like it was like an accident, and he just did it out of frustration, and they just like left it in. I don't know, but it's. But a lot of those movies, you know what? They're for fun. I mean, another one that comes to mind is like things like The Wild Bunch, or better yet, Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis. I mean, you are not watching that because it's realistic. You're watching it because it's a full-blown, give me a big bowl of popcorn and a soft drink, and we're going to have fun because we're going to watch him shoot 67 rounds out of 2 old-school 1911 A1 Parkerized, finish. That's what's awesome about it. So, but I just like the whole bit of the movie. All right, Frank Renner. I love this. Thanks, JW. Hey, brother, JW. How do I listen to the radio show in the Phoenix area? The show is just right here on the channel. It's just a podcast type deal. I just call it a collector's radio because I'm old school, and this is about as much I do with a computer in life. Yeah, you can, just search up the name or go to the channel, and you generally post it. If you're talking about the Phoenix area, the show actually, it comes on, it's published on the channel right around midnight-ish, 11 o'clock, late at night, Friday night is when we actually post this. So that all through the wee hours of the morning, as some would say, those can check it out. All right. 818 Richard, I guess. I'm sorry. Trying to erratic. What kind of coffee do you drink? Whatever's on sale. All right. And that is it. We got all the comments, and we read them all, hopefully, and we're getting more and more of them every time, so thank you. All right. You know what? We brought out for this because we talked about this, and we featured this in the earlier videos this week, and it's the Smith & Wesson Model 19 Snubby. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous firearm. You guys got a really good look at this throughout the thing. It is no secret that when it comes to double action revolvers, I've been a Smith & Wesson guy all the way. I really love the Smith revolvers. That's why I never really was entirely too big on the Colt stuff. There is a couple of them that I really like, that I really actually, mainly, and again, it's a movie-related deal. Some that come off my head, and don't get me wrong, the Colt Python, the blued Colt Python, is a gorgeous revolver. No way to ignore that. It is so gorgeous. It's so pretty. It's just beautifully done. The action work in it, it's done. I've shot them. They shoot great. They're very accurate. They're a piece of art that you can actually shoot and function. They do go out of time. The ones that I've had and I've shot, I've seen them go out of time. We had some issues, but nothing ever, and I've never really, even the ones that I had that I shot moderate 38 specials out of them. I never really hammered magnums out of them. Some people just, friends of mine, it was like, why do you do that? Really like that? You should shoot magnums in it. I didn't understand it. And a lot of it too was the respect for the gun. It was not made anymore at the time. It's certainly stuff like that. You got to preserve and conserve a lot of that kind of historical pieces. Hence I'm a collector. But I do like to go out and enjoy them and take them out and run them. But I'm not going to abuse them. And I'm not going to go out of my way to just if you're going out to the range with a, something like this, and you're sitting there trying to blow through a case of 357 Magnums out of it, there's something wrong. There's just, so when I take this out and I enjoy it, I generally shoot some pretty moderate, 38s out of it and just enjoy it for what it is and take care of it and, not beat it up or, because I'm a really big stickler on, I like them to remain nice and tight and the lockup and everything like that. So, and I enjoy taking it to the range. I do like taking this thing out and, taking it for a spin at the range and definitely, it's made to shoot, so shoot it. So it's that kind of deal. But some of the Colts that come to my mind that I can think of that I can add to the list if I don't. I have a couple of them, but I've gotten rid of so many. The Diamondback, for starters. The Diamondback is synonymous with two movies for me. One I already own, which I have it's definitely seen some better days, but not too terrible. I have a 4-inch barrel Diamondback, and that's because of the movie Brannigan with John Wayne. If you watch the first, 5 minutes of the movie, the opening sequence, if that doesn't want to make you buy a Diamondback, I don't know what will. The other one would be the Snubby Diamondback in Bullet with Steve McQueen. Absolutely love that. Even though it's funny is you don't really ever see him with it. He's wearing it, but he doesn't actually take it out, and you don't actually see him running around with it until like the last like 10 minutes of the movie. Which, if I recall right, that's it. And then of course you got a Model 97 Winchester pump. I mean, who doesn't? That's always cool to see it in that. So there's those. The original or a older generation detective special, if you will, with the exposed ejector rod on the bottom. I used to have a couple of them. I now I'm down to just the one. I sold off the other one. In a way, I kind of wish I would have kept it, just to, because they're hard to replace now. Hindsight's always 20/20, but they're a little harder to replace now. But I kept it because of the French Connection. I just love that movie, and that's what he has, so I kept it. I haven't really messed with it other than just having it for the nostalgia of that. So those right there are just kind of the ones that I can think of throwing out there, and just to kind of gets on my radar. That snubby Diamondback, I mean, they're out there, no problem, but I mean, they're $3,000, and until post lottery winnings, sure, why not? But the other one that I have that I brought out to show you, which I kind of realize now is gotten fairly rare. I don't know. I mean, I haven't really looked around for them, but I've noticed they disappeared somewhat. And this is a Colt Gold Cup. It's a newer production. I mean, it's still pre, I guess, the CZ acquiring the company. It's still before that. But this is a Gold Cup, and this is in 9mm. That is what's interesting about this one, is it's in 9mm. So I bought this because of the movie Cobra. This is what Sylvester Stallone has in Cobra. Of course, I got the Cobra grips on it, or have in a box, but I just put the old school phenolic grips on there just to give it that old school look. But it's a cool gun. I'm not the biggest diamond or Gold Cup fan, but I do like it because of that movie. It's pretty awesome. I did shoot it quite a bit, and as Colts, they rattle a little bit, and even this one is starting to rattle up a little bit. So, but that's just the nature of, that's always been a Colt issue with a lot of their stuff. They're not the best on the market by far, I know. But for me, it's the history on them, their name, it's synonymous with it all. I do. I mean, I can't help but like them because I'm just a fanboy of their heritage and all the history on it, and you always hear that, and come on, I mean, Colt, they made them War I, War II, it's got a huge track record and all that. So that's it for me. It's just the classic, ness of it. There's a bunch of other brands out there, but it's not necessarily about that for me. I like the name, like I said, and it's just like that collector's item. That cool, feeling of you got the Colt. So it's kind of like it's just owning that aspect of it. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this week's of the radio collector's radio, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And we'll get around to the next one.